What is up, everybody? Welcome. We're here in Seoul, South Korea for the first ever Tasteless TV Stormgate Showdown. And I am joined with my brother from a different mother, Artosis. You're back in Seoul, man. How does it feel?
Is that how we're selling it?
That's how we're selling
okay,
it, yes.
okay. Because this is some great green screen work that you guys have have set up. You'll notice that as I try to reach Tasteless, my hand disappears. No, it's great, man. It feels so good to come back. I got these weird feelings as I got off the airplane. I'm like, I lived here for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I've been having a great time. And I'm just happy to be here and casting some Stormgate with you.
There is something special about an RTS right when it comes out.
Yes.
Where, like, nobody really knows what's good. Nobody knows what works. Everybody's kind of scrambling to figure out the best strategy, the broken strategy. We've got a great 8-player invitational, Korean players as well as players from all over the world. And we're going to start this off with a Legends show match of MC versus Moon.
Yes, that's going to be a lot of fun as well because it's one of these like as old as time things that we've talked about. You remember when StarCraft 2 came out? It's like, who's going to be better? Is it Warcraft 3 or StarCraft players? Well, that was a sham because we knew it would be the StarCraft players. Now, will that happen again here in Stormgate, though, is a different question.
I mean, that is the big question, man. There's been a lot of great players from Warcraft 3. They looked pretty strong early on in StarCraft 2. Ultimately, the StarCraft 1 players that dominate in StarCraft 2. But now we've got two guys that had massive impact in each of their respective games where they are, legend status in. Moon, some of the greatest control of all time, kind of surviving through the ages of Warcraft 3, and truly an inspiration with his respective race. And then MC, he was the guy that really, as far as I see, taught people how to slice and dice with Protoss.
Yeah.
Used the Sentry in a way that we didn't really think it could be used.
Yeah, he was so influential in StarCraft 2. But, I guess we're starting. Here we go. And it looks like we have down here in the bottom left, Moon.
Yeah, we're going to have Moon over here on Infernal. And in the top right, it is going to be MC here as Vanguard. So in each of the iterations of the game, we're getting a shot of MC over here now. In each of the iterations of Stormgate, they've brought out, a certain faction, right? So we got to see Vanguard first. I would say they're Terran-esque, although there are some features about the race that are a little bit different. With Moon on Infernal here, he was playing Infernal in the big LG commercial that he did with me and Ziggy and Chobra.
It was a great commercial.
Thank you.
It made me want that monitor so badly.
And he's going to be he played Infernal then. He's going to be playing Infernal now. We've got the Hexen coming out here. This is a newer unit in this iteration of the game. And it looks like the Dog, which is also a starting unit that you get here for Vanguard. They're going to be duking it out. One of these players is wrong, by the way. You can't be attacking each other with two different units. Someone is supposed to lose this fight.
Someone's supposed to lose that. And I actually really like that they added this in. I did not like the way Gaunts were going early on. So the Hexen, I think, has done a lot to alleviate some of my concerns that we had with that. But have liked the Hexen so far. Still harassing a little bit here. Does the infest here on the pupper. And, it looks like it does actually get picked off. So that's going to be a little bit annoying there for Moon.
So we have a quick expand coming up here for Moon here, which is unsurprising. I've been maining mostly Infernal. I was trying to learn Celestial.
Yeah.
I got about as far as I could with that. We'll see how this cast sounds when we finally have to cast that race. But I do feel like organically you almost always have to take a base pretty quickly with Infernal and probably take a third base after that.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. It feels like a race that needs multiple bases very, very quickly. The cost efficiency just isn't there, especially against like Vanguard, for instance, is what I've noticed. Haven't gotten to play quite as much with those Celestials yet, but I have this gut feeling we're going to see a lot of Celestials today, so I'm not too worried. I feel like this is, obviously the first like big official Stormgate tournament, and we're going to be learning a lot watching it, as some of the world's very best players are here. Now taking a look, we have the Biokinetics lab on the way. Going to get some of those upgrades going, maybe some exos as well here for MC, who already has that expansion going up. And of course the pup just running around doing a bit of scouting right now.
So the scouting dog, it does have an ability which gives you a boost of vision everywhere, and I believe it does show detecting units, so it's pretty handy to have on the map and scout. And whether you're in their base or somewhere else, you can basically confirm, okay, are they creeping, are they expanding, or maybe they're just one basing, which if you ever see somebody on one base, it can only mean one of two things. Either you're being rushed and with buildings hidden on the map, or they're tacking into something to rush you a little bit later.
Or you're just being dumb.
Or you're bad.
The expansion.
Yeah.
Or they're just completely bad. This is the first time playing an RTS.
Or they queued up a game and left their PC. That's also, if we're going to go down all the possible routes.
That's true. That's true. We're just saving up to expand twice at once. Some Lancers coming out here for MC. And, it'd be interesting to see how MC wants to play this, because, like, MC is, like, one of these historically very abusive players of RTS games. Like you mentioned, at the beginning of StarCraft 2, he was by far the best Protoss in the world. To the honestly, I think a lot of what's wrong with Protoss now is because of MC. So, because he influenced the whole world with his playstyle that was so powerful at the time that it really changed the flow of the game and how people learned it.
He was a very in-your-face Protoss.
Yes.
He would take whatever advantage he had and push it to the absolute maximum of its potential. It looks like at 6 o'clock we have a hidden, I guess it's actually not a hidden base, it's just the layout of this map. So, there is a base being taken there. I do find on this map specifically, it's a little bit trickier to take and hold your third base, and especially after the third base, you do feel maybe a little bit overexposed. We should point out that in a new RTS game, it's not really clear which race is supposed to technically be ahead in bases, or if there's a faction that's supposed to have more bases. You might, maybe a Vanguard Infernal, you're supposed to be even on bases. Maybe it's like a TVZ where, whoever's the Zerg in this matchup is supposed to be growing faster, right?
Yeah, and those things will naturally be found over time. My gut with it so far is that Vanguard gets a bit more cost-efficient a lot of the time, so probably can be down in bases slightly, but of course we'll see. There's so many changes still going on. We'll talk about it more as we get into it, but even seeing just a bunch of the changes since the last closed beta has been pretty crazy, right? Like, they've really been putting a lot of work into Stormgate and changing things up, so a lot here to learn this weekend.
And it looks like, I doubt that's us very zoomed in on the ground right now.
That looks like real grass right there.
Yeah.
I know I have a yard now, and that's what grass looks like, especially when it hasn't rained for a few days.
We're going to get a cut here of Moon in-game. I think there may be an issue with the Observer PC. But anyways, we're still here in mid-game. Things are beginning to develop. And I don't think we're going to have this game end anytime soon right now.
No, it does not look like it. Kind of excited to see as they go up towards that late game.
Look at how his headphones, it almost looks like his ear is pierced and the cord's going through it.
That would be hardcore right there.
That's...
Those are some very special earbuds. You can't ever take those out.
You can't ever run out of the room with those on.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So we got it sorted. Sorry about that, guys. Back in this game, I mean, it looks like we're still in a powering phase. We've got a bit of roaming here from Moon. We should point out, by the way, because there's going to be people watching this that maybe don't know some of the more foundational features of Stormgate. It is an RTS made in the spirit of like StarCraft 1, 2, and Warcraft 3. In this game, there are creeps on the map. They are not functional in the same way that Warcraft 3 creeps, are, in that you don't have items.
Yeah, no items, but you do get little boosts, whether it's like a healing area, a vision area, and a few other things. So, it is something that can be helpful. It is something that you can battle over a little bit. I like the way that they've done it. Like I'm not a huge fan of like picking up items on a map or something like that. But I do like how Stormgate has kind of approached these camps where it gets you out there doing some things on the map, which is, this is like a tricky thing when you're making an RTS, is how do you get the players to actually, engage with each other? Because people figure out pretty quickly, like, oh, this race wants to engage, so this one will stay, like, turtled up a little bit. So those camps really help with that.
So we might have an engagement right here. Now, the Exos have an upgrade that allows them to move faster when they attack. Infernal is actually a bit of a sluggish race. Like, when they get close to you, they can do a lot of damage. But in my own experience playing Infernal, it does seem like there's a zoning tool that the Vanguard kind of use to punish until there's a phase. Now, Brutes can split into Fiends. So if you're going to do that, you can try to dive into this. But if you mess that up, you're probably going to lose the game.
Yeah, you don't want to waste all of your Brutes. Like, you do need them to tank some damage there as well. But, like, the way that Moon's moving this army is not going to be able to do anything against the Vanguard because you're so fast with that quick draw hustle, you know, with the whatever the Lancer upgrade is called, where it, like, makes them move faster when they're being hit, as opposed to the Exos, which hit and then move faster. But it's, like, very APM intensive. And what you need to do generally with the Infernals is, like, maybe think of a flank, right? If you can flank with Magmadons and, like, stun them a little bit, or maybe, you know, flank with, you know, just anything to kind of stop the micro back, that's where you're going to excel.
Oh, he forced a cancel, but it just restarted. So this is going to be driven back. I do notice that with Vanguard, it does feel like you end up pretty organically with like a death ball comp, and a lot of times the way to punish that is to just hit them where they're not at. So, you know, one thing a lot of players always want is like, I want everything to be on one hotkey so it's easy. Well, that's how you could lose the game. You need to have some units distributed everywhere on the map to basically deal with that. So, I mean, this game is actually sizing up to be a pretty epic one. It doesn't seem like either player is going to be able to kill the other one off here. We do have an evac. Okay, I almost forgot that. Sorry, this game's still new, guys. There's an evac out dropping. So this is going to be a little bit of a harassment. I don't see any kind of endgame push coming in here at all.
No, but good harassment here from MC. He's going to be really used to playing this type of style. You know, since his StarCraft 2 days, a lot of people have asked what he's doing. He actually plays StarCraft 1 really heavily now and uses a lot of speed shuttles. So he is very used to multitasking harassment, and you can see that being used here.
Yeah, and meanwhile, he's putting some pressure over here at the 6 o'clock base. It doesn't seem like Moon is necessarily in a position tech-wise to deal with anything. There is a Shroud Stone just south of the Shrine there, and that's like a very good defensive structure, but you got to be careful if that's too far back. You know, the Vanguard might be able to hit your Shrine, which would, you know, be able to deny mining long-term.
For sure. Yeah, the Shroud Stones are kind of funny because, like, they feel pretty good, but they, you know, they don't have, like, a lot of flexibility. You don't really repair them or anything. And, like, that one's very good against melee units, but isn't helping really much against those Exos.
Right. And so it seems like the harass is going to quiet down. Well, actually, maybe not. I mean, these Exos are starting to really chisel this position down over time. You can see that the veterancy, these are the little gold icons that are by the units. The veterancy is up to 2 or 3 on some of these Exos. So you can manually apply that upgrade, and that makes them really tough to kill. It's also a very high-value target for the Infernal, but I do feel like at this phase of the game, it's a little bit tough for the Infernal player to really kind of strong-arm the Vanguard.
Yeah, I think you got to play a bit swarmy. Now, there are some Hellborns coming out, and those do help out a bit here. You know, those have been changed quite a bit from their original style. A little bit of a long wind-up on them and everything, but they do deal that AoE. They are going to, you know, you're not going to be able to just kite back from those or anything like that. So hopefully, as Moon gets a few Hellborns out here, it'll help him to get some more consistent damage on MC's army.
Now, with the Hellborns here, just get a quick shot of Moon, by the way. I'm glad this is a long game, too. One thing about a new RTS is that, like, we don't know how long the games are going to be. We don't know how long they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, every time a new RTS comes out, rushing is the strongest thing because you can learn it so quickly, and you kind of start to master it. It's, you know, the tight defenses is what takes a long time to grind out in any RTS.
Yes, 100%. In fact, one of the ways I like to learn is to rush a whole lot, and then just
for sure.
When I see my opponent stop it, I go, okay, now I know how to do that, and then maybe I can play more like that and kind of build from there. So we're seeing the Shroud spread, and this is a pretty big engage.
Yeah.
We got some Hellborns here in the back chucking this down. We got the Magmadons here with a push up through the top, doing quite a bit of damage. The kiting is still pretty good. The question is going to be, has he thinned this number out to where he can close in? And I think the answer is going to be no. In fact, these Magmadons here on the side might be in trouble. It looks like he could maybe get them away. There are global abilities in this game. We don't have an easy way to show you guys that in this iteration, but you can cast down Shroud here. Now, there's a big drop over here. We were talking about Shroud Stone placement, and this is a really good example of that. Those Shroud Stones are far out enough they can't really protect the Shrine.
A couple Shadow Flyers tried to get the evac, but he didn't have enough, so the evac is still just there right now, unfortunately. But yeah, that at least we did see Moon actually hit some of the Magmadon stomps there and start to actually deal some damage to MC's army. So that is very, very important that he's been able to do that.
For now, MC continuing to grow. We had a moment where Moon was able to assert himself, but it seems like that time is kind of past here. We are in pretty deep late game tech here for Moon.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting into more Hellborns mixed in there a little bit. He's kind of bleeding in right now to MC. It's a very small MC army, so I can see why he maybe wants to do this, right? Like, his Hellborns are getting some damage down there. But if you're bleeding almost single file like we just saw, that probably won't end well. So, yeah, MC being pushed back a little bit. We have some Atlases joining in now for MC, and I tell you, the Atlas is very strong.
It's a very, very strong unit. Similar to the Siege Tank, only different in that its shots are telegraphed. And in the actual shot has to connect to the ground before the damage is dealt, unlike a Siege Tank where it's instantaneous. So you do have the opportunity to try to dodge that. We got MC pushing in here, and if you look at the supplies, it's 181 to about 90. So it's a nearly 100 supply lead. And, I mean, this could be the tipping point. As far as I can tell, what Moon has is on camera, where I think MC is going to have a lot more units. I don't believe they're rallied to this army. They may be back there. But the point is, this push, I think, is going to come in. I think it's probably going to end the game.
Yeah, he gets a Weaver out here, which definitely can be a really good unit. Does a little bit of a yank in there, but that is not going to help him out, pulling that med tech in. GG, yeah. And so that's going to be a win to MC there with the Vanguard in Game 1.
So we're going to have our players queuing up in a Game 2 here in a second. Nobody's saying anything. Players playing quietly. MC with a massive Ice Americano, if you look closely at that.
Oh, did he? I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
He is powered up and ready to go. So our first game was actually a pretty standard macro game from both sides.
Yeah. I felt like Moon was maybe missing a little piece of his play there compared to MC. Like, MC got the expansion up very quickly. There was no pressure on him. He was able to get up into his exos, and he just kind of kept pressure on consistently. Which, if you're, like, as soon as you get that exo upgrade that lets you, like, move really quickly, you're only really limited by your APM, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought we would see maybe more teching coming out from MC here, but it does seem like you could actually stay on infantry for a long time.
Oh yeah. Like, I think you only have to go to Atlas. Like, that's what it feels like to me in my games, at least so far. It's still early on. Maybe that'll change, but the Atlas becomes such a strong support unit later on. It's just like the way it just blows up with the AoE on the ground is so crazy strong. So that, like, if you have a bunch of those sieged and you're kiting back, they can't really chase you. They're just going to be running through like a no-go zone.
Yeah, I do think you can maybe take advantage of drops as the Infernal, especially once you have the Gone upgrades. You get Infest. The Infest, any unit that's infested is and killed is immediately turned into Fiends. So that can snowball certain positions, especially if you're dropping like where the workers are, as an example.
Yeah, you can use that top bar some and activate that a little bit. And definitely, the Doombringers, they were very popular like a couple betas ago. Haven't seen them quite as much, but yeah, I don't know. I think that Moon needs to do a little bit more, whether that's expanding more to get more swarmy or maybe putting more pressure on early.
You can also cheese. I mean, there's some really strong rushes with Infernal.
That's true.
I know I personally experimented a lot with the Iron Vault and is it Conclave that makes the gaunts? Yeah, Conclave proxy rushes.
Oh, yes. I definitely saw you doing that, Tasis. Anytime I want to see what the filthiest cheese is, I just go check out this stream right here.
Let's see what Ooga Booga No Brain rushes is this guy doing.
Yeah. I'm like, what shouldn't I have respect for? I turn on your stream. What should I get mad about if I lose to it? Oh, what Tasis is doing. Of course.
We have it where I'm cheesing on my stream and people are typing Artosis wakes up in a cold sweat suddenly.
People think I get chills because people are playing well. It's no, because Tasis is laddering on some game somewhere.
We're going to have the Hexen come in. I think I didn't mention this in the previous game, but this a unit that has like a global recall ability. So, which I think is actually a pretty good idea, because if you were going to get people into this game and they start out with this unit and they lose it and they just lose the game, that would be pretty devastating. So it encourages people to be out on the map and try stuff. What we're seeing here is that the Bob can repair the dog, by the way.
And if you're wondering how that happens, guys, the dog is part cyborg. Duh. Duh.
And only its cyborg ports were hurt.
Yeah. So, imagine that. Oh my.
So the dog comes out here. He sees that there's a brute on the map, and I think that this still might be an expand build here from Moon. Yeah, he's going to take this base now.
Yeah.
There's basically two ways you can expand with Infernal. You can either go immediately for a shrine, or you can try to get your core tier 1 tech out and then take a base.
For a while, before the Hexen was introduced, it felt like you absolutely, against Vanguard, because of the dogs, had to go, and get some brutes first. But I don't feel like that's necessarily as much the case now. But he is putting some more pressure on, which I like to see, right? You can see a ton of Bobs down here having to fight some. The dog, once again, he's going to go ahead and infest that. Dog running back, and he actually does get the kill and gets the Fiend out of that as well. Very nice by Moon. This is a much better opener, I feel like.
Actually, this could start to snowball. The Brute is staying alive. Now, remember, when the Brute dies, it turns into a Fiend. Moon's actually microed the one Fiend back a lot. There's another Brute over here. He's tying his shoes. Is it going to come in? Yes, it is. And, I mean, no joke here. This could actually flip the game. I mean, he slowed him down so much. I guess he's going to try to back out, but he might want to just try to regroup and come in again. I think there's another Brute coming in here from the very top of the map as well, so he's reinforcing. But this is classic Moon, is like getting as much damage out as possible while not losing a unit, and then being like, okay, I did as much as I can. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to reset. I'm going to wait for another opportunity. So let's see how this next attack goes.
I do want to see those mass expands with it as well that he's known for, to be honest. Now, a Sentry Post comes up. And he does have a Lancer there, so, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that he's not going to go ahead and just load that up for that awesome damage. But the Fiends right now fighting, doing really well, and you can see this is starting to snowball like you were talking about, Faceless. Looking pretty tough. He is targeting with this this Lancer as much as possible. Gets that Hexen out of there for now. But I would say that Moon has the advantage this game.
Oh, for sure. Actually, pushing out with the Lancers could be a mistake here.
Yeah, if you get them surrounded, you're going to be very sad. And if someone's going to be good at surrounding, it's going to be Moon.
Yeah, I mean...
The key skill of Warcraft 3. Surrounding smaller amounts of units with larger amounts of units.
He really is the best at it, though.
He is the best, dude.
Truly,
oh,
he's
my
the
God.
GOAT.
Chills.
And to be honest, at the edges of ramps, it seems like you can get a pretty easy surround with melee units.
Yeah, I think
It feels like the corners of the ramps are fatter, if that makes sense, than some other games.
Yeah, I think it's like we're not used to the exact architecture of these ramps yet. You know, you get used to ramps and their sizes and their what they actually are. It's like graphically, nothing in a game is exact as to how it behaves. So I've definitely felt that same thing. But I feel like we'll get used to it and be like, no, this is normal.
100%.
Yeah.
So the Biokinetics lab is coming down here. This is a lot like an academy, I guess you could compare it to in StarCraft. This gets you your infantry upgrades. Another shrine up here where Moon is. So this is to mine the Therium. I think I'm saying that right. Everybody's been correcting me. Just to go to the basics, because I think the game's going to slow down a little bit here. You've got two resources. You've got your Luminite, which is your core. It's kind of like your gold or your minerals or whatever you'd want to compare it to. And then you have your Therium, which is kind of like your gas or maybe your wood. I think wood is maybe not as clean of an example, but it's like a secondary resource.
Yeah, it's more limited like gas than wood. Wood was always like you can get a ton, but you don't need a ton.
Right. And so, we see a lot of games, people making shrines or using other like refineries to get that right by the Therium here. So far in this game, it's going to be 3 bases to 2. I might be wrong, but I would say this is maybe the best or one of the best maps here for Stormgate. I think it's made for really solid games. I think you do have to have
Broken Crown Hinterlands is the name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great map name, by the way. It really describes the map well. But but yeah, I think it's quite a good map, and I like the setup very much that Moon is doing. I've played a lot of both Infernal and Vanguard, And this is actually very similar to the setup that I've enjoyed, where you actually make the additional shrine as well, so you can just get a silly amount of imps out and really boom your economy.
Yeah. So, you know, the Lancers are starting to chase here, and he does take down that Brute. So the Brute is really beefy, but it is slow, as we can see here. And in fact, you can kind of chase down the Brute. It's a pretty punishing thing. I think he's going to barely get away. Let's see. No, I bet he's going to get one more.
Yeah,
hit here.
he'll kill that Brute, I'm pretty sure on that one. Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, we really put ourselves in a weird spot trying to predict that, but all right.
That was player error, Terry.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's too bad they're not as good as us.
Oh,
if
dude,
only
it's
we weren't so good at talking.
Yeah, if they were better at talking, we would be playing. Tasus would be cheesing me, and I'd be yelling about how Vanguard is the hardest race. So, yeah, gets that speed up shrine right there. So, going to go ahead and move around the map a little bit more, adding those additional barracks. I think some pretty solid play here from MC. But Moon with that much better opener, like his layout is starting to look really strong, man. He's going to be on 4 base with 5 shrines. So that's like, for those of you who don't know, that's basically infinity. Like you can make so many imps so quickly. You know, the production mechanic actually with Infernal is one of the more interesting things in the game, in my opinion. Instant production of up to 3 units based on timers. And so I really like the fact that you can kind of hold that for a second and be like, okay, all the imps, bam, and suddenly you have 15 imps walking over, right?
Yes, it allows you to basically park production.
Yeah.
Until you know exactly what you need.
Kind of Zerg-esque, but in a very different way because it's instantaneous.
Yes, but also you can't like accumulate comical amounts of larva in the same way. You can make many buildings and then kind of pocket the queue of 3s there, but
I like how right now you're making, while we look at each other, a Kamehameha, a Kamehameha, whatever, like little Goku. You're like, yes, you can get the Spirit Bomb energy to take this down.
But it's a crazy good mechanic. I think when good players use it right, it's very tough to stop.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It really adds some flexibility. Now, a little attack in here, and I actually really like moves like this because actually the Infernal Army is not that fast. So if they're not in position, you can come in, pick off a few buildings, and then just run away. See, like as this comes up with that many Hellborns, I would never actually sit there and fight that. I just back up, be like, that's fine. I got some value. Let's go.
Yeah, the Hellborns are very slow.
Yeah.
And so you have kind of this, really powerful Zerg-esque position here with Infernal, but you have to kind of relocate everything. It's a little bit, in some ways, the opposite of StarCraft 2 Zerg, where everything's really fast on creep. Not that the Shroud slows you down, but that things are slow. Okay, we got a pretty good attack over here. He flanks it pretty nicely.
I was surprised that MC actually tried to take that healing camp, like trying to just assuming Moon wasn't going to follow. But Moon follows, hits that flank, starts to pick off some units here. I think his Hellborn count's just enough. I'm really surprised MC stays over here for this long. Also, we see the Weaver in there. And I got to say, like, I'm a player that doesn't care too much about what things look like. But when I saw the Weaver, I'm like, this thing is like a nasty-looking unit, man. Like, it's creepy. The way it lumbers. Look at the way it lumbers.
Yeah.
Look at its Ninja Turtle feet.
It's got some crazy Ninja Turtle feet.
It's got 4 of them.
It's got longer toes, which is
it does. It's like
an
like
eagle and it's a little bit of like a bird feet thing going on. But what is how many toes? 2 toes. Okay. Yeah, Ninja Turtle feet.
It's kind of weird that it has 2 toes. You feel like I feel like the 3rd toe is much better balanced. It might be able to move quicker.
They should make a skin where you can paint its toenails too. This game, like the last game, is just a massive macro game. It seems like we could end up with all the bases taken. There are 2 bases that are kind of close to the middle. One's just, you can see the Luminite there, just up, right there. And there's a mirrored one on the other side. And other than that, there's just a couple more on the map. So, I mean, I've had a lot of games personally where it's split map on this map.
Yes, me too.
I don't think this game could be any exception, especially in this matchup.
Now, I actually really like that Moon is attacking right now. I think that this is important as the game gets big. I found that when I play... Dude, this flank. Oh my God.
Oh, that actually might be the end of this army because the Vanguard's just so nimble.
Yeah.
It can clean this out.
You can't really run away with these units, unfortunately. This is super rough.
There's not like a recall mechanic or anything like that with Infernal. And especially with the comp that they have, it does feel like everything's kind of slow, right? So
Yes.
once you surround it, I mean, the punish is crazy good.
Yeah, there's some funny things about the way Infernal works, where like you can have a great opener like This Is Moon and get a bunch of bases, but I feel like most of the games that go half map, if you don't actually move in and do something with Infernal, it gets harder and harder because if you look at like DPS, right, damage per second output for area, Vanguard is much better at that than you see from, you know, there's like a ton of melee units in here, right? Magmadons and Fiends, and, you know, the Gaunts aren't that long a range, and you got, you know, it's just like, it's hard. You can see as he walks in, he's like getting kind of slaughtered by the Exos. So you've got to kind of be creative about how you're going to end up taking these engagements as the Infernal player.
Really big targets here to take down the Hellborns. He's going to back up. Now, the Shroud Stone you got to respect, but I think he might be able to thin this out. We've got, what is the medic name?
Medtech.
Medtech, thank you. The Medtech kind of here in the front. It's
like, well, that's Sally right there, Tasteless. But I think you mean the unit type. It's the Medtech.
Yeah, I mean, this push is going to crumble this position. It's going to be, I think, 3 base to 3 base now. So Infernal was up a base. Most of the key infrastructure is actually over here, which I guess now that we look at this position, the Vanguard can kind of, you know, hack away at this and probably tear this down. And I don't think there's a lot of recourse here from Moon. It does seem like if any position on this map is broken into, you could probably start to carve your way through.
Yeah, and it's really hard, as you see. Like, you simply have the Exos firing more and firing quicker against these Gaunts. The Gaunts are not going to be a great counter in this particular scenario. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of different ideas that you can use, right? Like, what you see Moon doing is not like, you shouldn't look at this and say, oh, man, the Vanguard just OP late game. Like, yeah, Vanguard players are more talented and practice harder. But
you should know that Infernal's the hardest race.
Can you guys tell that I play Vanguard? But, yeah, I couldn't help myself, Tasteless. I started playing Infernal. I'm like, I'm not going to do Terran to myself again.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're all different from those races as well. But, like, I just fell in love with playing Vanguard. It's so fun to micro the Exos and the Lancers and everything.
If you like kiting with ranged units, I mean, this is kind of the faction for you. I think this is going to be the beginning of the end here. Whether he pushes in and takes this expansion out or goes into the main. We have Atlases just off screen here, firing some shots. Ooh. Now the Imps, you can, similar to a Baneling, you can proc them, and they will run in and do explosive damage, but they're not that fast, and so even they can be kited. And what, 134 supply to 51.
Yeah. That's rough. That's rough. Hey, you know, the on-fire Imps are a good counter to this, but a lot of times you have to think about, like, can I flank? Can I come in from a different angle? GG is called. GG. MC 2-0.
MC looking very good.
Yeah.
He really had not messed with this game until like 2 or 3 days ago.
He's just he's a talent, dude.
Yeah, we were a little bit worried picking him because we just thought, like, is he going to be able to hang at all? And
you never have to be worried about him because like this happened this was the funniest thing that happened, like when they had this StarCraft 2 Legends match in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, was
everyone's like, oh, you know, I think like Stefano's gonna win. I think MMA. I'm like, are you guys like stupid MCs here? Like, what is wrong with everybody?
Yeah,
and he hadn't played StarCraft 2 in forever. Like he was actually helping.
He could just show up and kind of figure it out.
He was helping the StarCraft 1 legends practice StarCraft 1 for their matches, and then played like one game and then won the tournament.
He's just very gifted.
Just such a talent.
Also a coach in League of Legends as well. I mean, he's just a very gifted player. Do we have the players in the game, or should we cut to a break here? I'm going to be breaking the fourth wall here. Kevin, should we? They're in the game. All right, we're going to go to a game, and we'll go to a commercial later, I guess.
Yeah.
But right now, 2-0 here. MC in the lead. It is a best of 5. This is the Legends show match to start off Tasteless TV Showdown.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed that Moon can win one. I would like to see a couple more games out of these guys, but right now it just seems like MC is too good.
Yeah, he does look a bit better because the opener was way Moon favored. Moon got up to 4 bases with 5 shrines in like no time flat. You know, MC was like getting his third up and he's up against 5 base, but it felt like Moon hasn't fully figured out the different tactics that I think you need. I think that it's a very tactic-heavy race, the Infernals, where it's like you might have this huge army, this great economy, but if you go in a straight line at Vanguard, you will never win.
No, I think you can't engage with the Vanguard in the mid-game as far as their main army. This is not one where you're trying to counter their comp. You're trying to circumnavigate it. You know, the Vanguard, they're faster on their feet than the Infernal, which is one of the key factors that makes the Vanguard basically, I think, better in the mid-game. But you don't have to engage with that part. We know that Shroud Stones are very strong. You get a couple of those with, you know, a few other key units around it, and you could probably hold off most anything. And then, you know, maybe go for drops. I know we've seen with Parting, he goes for a lot of Flame Imp drops. Or Gaunt drops.
That's a great way to do it.
And that kind of keeps the Vanguard player honest.
All right. Well, we're going to see how they want to play here. And we have MC in the top right here as Vanguard.
And down here in the bottom left is Moon. Once again with the Infernal. Hexen on the map. It does seem like the transition from mid-game to late game is where Moon is weak. He seems to get there really pretty perfectly, and then he's not sure where to go.
Well, you know, honestly, you can't blame him. Like, the game is so brand new. Like, a lot of things are still being changed. You know, we're just in early access right now, so it's going to take a bit for everyone to kind of zero in on exactly how they want to play. But I do feel like we're seeing still very, very solid plays. Like, people are just getting better and better at RTS games.
Yeah. 100%. So we've got the dog harass coming in here. I think he's going to get the imp.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh! Takes it out. A little feather in MC's cap.
Yeah. And with that dog getting away, he's pretty happy about that as well.
It sucks losing a worker early on.
Yeah.
It can seem inconsequential. And I guess it's less consequential the more workers you start with in an RTS. It's probably worse than StarCraft 1 because you start with 4 workers. But when you get players this good, the build orders are pretty fine-tuned. So, especially with the game this new, it's going to be a bit of an uncomfortable set of sequences here. So we saw that little spell the Hexen cast. That's a Flying Skull. It reminds me of the, what's the Ogre Mage ability? That he shoots the little flying eyeball. It's kind of like that.
I don't remember the name of that.
I think it's called Flying Eyeball.
Is it really?
No, of course not.
I'm like, but that game was so cool when I was a kid.
But yeah, you can use that. I think it can be used to scout and be sent out on the map. And this game, this was that Shrine before Vault?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a bit of a flip of the build in the last game.
Yeah, and of course, Barracks coming up first here for MC before he gets his expansion up, so he does have some Lancers out there. So again, I think it's a good opener from Moon. It, like, either put on heavy pressure in that early game with the, you know, as he did in the previous map, or go for that very, very fast expansion and try to explode from there.
This map's a tough one in general. It feels very open. You actually have 2 entry points into your main, which we don't really know what maps in this game are supposed to look like yet. Yeah. I mean, you could model it after a StarCraft 2 map or after a StarCraft 1 map or even in some ways after a Warcraft 3 map, but we don't really know what makes for good games.
Yeah.
Map design kind of ages like a fine wine. Like, people sort of figure out what's fun, or well, also what's fair.
Yeah. The different races will eventually require different types of base layouts to be competitive. And, of course, we have no idea where that's going to end up. Oh, this is a great follow-up with the Hexen, man. Comes in, hits that Infest with the Flying Skull. And, yeah, he's going to be able to get a couple Fiends, it looks like.
Okay, takes out
Excellent.
2 of those.
Excellent.
And, of course, you know, with that Infest, you get some Fiends. New players will experience a lot of games where they will snowball with wins or snowball with losses based off of the Fiends themselves, but it's an interesting mechanic. I think it kind of forces players to have very decisive moves early on and know when to commit and when to back away. Gaunt's originally started with Infest. This is definitely an overextension here. Now, he's going to be able to drive these back, but Gaunt's originally started with Infest. Now that you need an upgrade to get that ability, which is probably a better way, but we'll see what direction Frost Giant takes it.
The Hexen now, you know, I really like the way they've changed over some of this infestability in this early game to the Hexen, so you can't just go and creep the whole map in 3 seconds and
Right.
and overwhelm absolutely everything with Fiends. Definitely has made the game a bit better, I think. And, you know, looking at this game, like, yeah, we had that first early worker kill by MC, but some of this harassment's done pretty well. Like, 3 Bobs have fallen. You know, the Fiends did a great job, and there is some good massing going on right now. It's not a great economy by MC, as you can see. He's only got a couple Bobs at that expansion.
So the creeping's going to continue on. By the way, these creeps you can dodge. That red kind of sight line thing, that telegraphs where they're going to go. But for now, yeah, I mean, he's just going to continue to try to dominate the map. By the way, this map is huge. This map is gargantuan.
Yeah,
I think this is the biggest map in the pool, or at least maybe there's one
It
other map.
feels like the biggest playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to remember from what we know so far, and we know not a whole lot, to be honest, for how many games have actually been played here, it does seem like there's not a lot of ability to move freely on the map with Infernal if you're caught in the middle of the map by Vanguard. So this could be a very long game. I think if Moon plays correctly, in air quotes correctly.
It's kind of an interesting take on RTS race design, the slowness of the units, because if you look at, like, if you had to mirror these races onto other races from other RTS games that we've played, because this is how, you know, humans learn, is by kind of comparing things to things they've done in the past, it kind of feels Zergish, but it has the slowness of, like, a StarCraft 1 Terran.
Yeah.
Right? Or something along those lines, where it's like you have to be very careful with those engagements. So to your point of, like, if you're roaming the map and you're found out of position, that's going to be incredibly painful as the Infernal player, which is like it feels like a strange role for a race that has that type of production, that type of explosive economy.
So we're going to have drops. We were talking about this before, that we needed to probably have drops here from Moon if he was going to find anything, because you're better off punishing a roaming Vanguard or a pushing Vanguard than trying to beat them in the middle of the map. I think, is it a Magmadon in there? It looked like it was something.
It might be, yeah. I've definitely seen
size.
Oh,
no.
It's Gaunts.
Oh, you know what? I'm confusing the
white
health as as the size of what's inside of there.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
the Gaunt drop's actually even better. He can bring this down now, and with the infest ability, you just get a couple kills on the Bobs, and the whole fight really snowballs. And what's nice is that with the Doombringer, you can get out really, really quickly. Similar to StarCraft 2, there are these sort of vacant areas on the edges of at least this map where you can kind of abuse and park that, and then, as you can see here, come in once again.
I got to tell you, this is it's a little bit slower, this Doombringer drop, than some of the earlier betas that we've seen, where this was like a very dominant strategy. But you can still see it's doing a pretty good job. Moon is keeping MC busy. He's got to keep some units back here, and he's got to decide, okay, do I want to make some towers to kind of stop this? You know, maybe I want to go up to Hornets to just push it away. Maybe I just want to leave units in here for now, so I don't have to build any additional infrastructure to defend it. But it definitely gives Moon like a lot of options.
Right. But the Doombringer is a welcome change here in this game. Oh, just to point out for people that don't know, the Shroud, you don't have to build on the Shroud. I mean, it's illustrated here, but in case you're confused by that, I think a lot of people, if they come from StarCraft, might be going, what? The Shroud will give you, I believe for now it's called like white HP? Or
white health
white
is
health.
what I call it.
It's like a shield that you build up when you're on it, and you know, if you're not on the Shroud, it'll go away.
I think they took away the go away.
Okay, that's
like
right.
It
They
just
changed
stays
that.
exactly where it is. You don't regain any.
So,
but it adds some strategy. Sometimes you'll see them call down Shroud to be able to like heal up during battles and things like that. So it definitely, there's like a lot of strategy as to like, do I want my units to spawn on the Shroud and then wait there for a bit to gain that additional health before I move out and that type of thing. And when the Doombringer lands, it makes some Shroud, but it also makes it obviously easier to pick off. So
there's also a great upgrade you can get with the Doombringer that gives it like a stun when it comes down. So it kind of crashes down, which combos super nicely with the Invest from the Gaunts.
I love that idea. Imagine that. It's like, oh no, what's in his Doombringers? Nothing. Stun all your workers.
Just pick it up and drop it over
yeah,
and over again.
Just up and down, up and down.
Speaking of drops, we got the evac picked up here. And it looks like he's going to get most of those units and probably start trying to roam the map and hit. We don't really know if bigger maps are better or worse for Infernal.
Yeah, we don't.
What idea to throw out
Who
there?
knows? And the thing is, some of the things that we learn in these first weeks will change completely, whether that's via patch or understanding.
Also, you know, I think there's no way around this, but all the players kind of copy each other, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you'll have somebody who's just really good at doing a certain thing, and then everybody does that.
Yep.
And it might even be suboptimal.
Oh,
there might be a better way to handle it later on.
We've seen that so many times in new RTS
Yeah.
games. So many times. And it affects the game a lot, because if everyone's doing it, you have to balance based off that.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about before with MC and his aggressive plays at the beginning of StarCraft 2.
So the Gaunts have the speed upgrade. I'm kind of surprised that he's hitting this building.
Dude, he's sniping it
He's
actually
sniping
really
this?
quickly. Look at how quick he gets it, even with the Bobs overcharging and trying to repair. And now he's going to just kill everything that's in here.
Now watch how many
Wow.
beams are going to spawn here.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. I don't know if there's anything to defend the very main base here, but there is a huge amount of Gaunts. And now that the Gaunts have the speed upgrade, the whole dynamic is different, because now it's no longer about the Vanguard being able to outrun. That's very, very curious to me that he targeted that command post.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to go after the workers and try to snowball there.
There must be some influence from Warcraft 3 with that.
Might
like
be.
maybe that's like in more Warcraft 3 situations, you know to target that, or it makes
I
more
guess
sense.
if
Because from a StarCraft perspective, you'd always go for the Bobs.
Yeah, if you go dive on the Bobs, maybe that gives him more time. Whereas if you dive on the command post, the Bobs have to turn around to repair, and then you could kill the Bobs there. I'm not sure, but definitely some very interesting plays. And you see here, the evac drop obviously doing some damage here for MC's doing a good job. But the one thing that's really surprising me through this series so far is every game Moon looks about 10 times better.
Yeah,
Which actually,
no.
that's not that odd a thing, really. I mean, the game is
Jesus,
so
the
new.
Shroud. Look at the Shroud spread on that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the top bar ability that we just saw, actually.
Oh,
Not
was
just
it?
that's not just the Doombringer. I'm 99%.
Maybe there's an
sure.
is there an upgrade for the Doombringer that gives it more Shroud? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure about that. They could have added that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
GG.
Nice.
MC dies.
Yeah, see, the Shroud, that was the top bar.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was actually really, really well done by Moon. I liked the drops that he was doing there, the mass gaunt there, picking off the command post. Really, really great plays.
Yeah. Well, I am so glad that we actually have a win here from Moon. He looked a lot better. Stayed back. I think getting the Gaunts in mass with the Infest and the speed upgrade, I think it's a 40% speed boost.
It's a huge difference.
Which
a
is,
huge difference.
with a ranged unit, that's massive.
Mhm.
And then, of course, with Infest, the punish is crazy.
Honestly, I think they need that, because without that, you watch them against Exos and you're like, what? What is this garbage?
Yeah. And so, I mean, the game went really, really well for him back there. Again, no short games so far with these two.
Yeah, they're not really rushing each other.
Yeah, but we'll have short games with Celestial. Don't worry. That's coming.
No, that's coming. Oh,
I know people
boy.
are slamming their fists on their desks. Where are the shorter games?
Yeah, where are my rush games?
Yeah. Where are the all-ins? But MC taking a loss here. Moon actually has a shot if he can win 2 more.
Yeah, well, the way he played that game, if he continues down that type of path, take your expansion fast, bring a Doombringer in, right?
Yeah.
Force MC to deal with that. Because the thing is, if a Doombringer flies in your base, you're like, that's fine, I'll just go counterattack. You're going to lose.
Oh, 100%.
The Gaunts are going to snowball much quicker than your army can. So I think if he does that, because for me personally, when I was playing, that's what really got me was heavy Doombringer harassment. That stuff just kind of forces you back. And obviously there are some counters to that. You can go up into Hornets or whatever, or make your command post. But it's going to force the Vanguard player to react to that. So, it gives you back some control of the game, even if you can't just, walk around the center all the time.
Right. So we're going to get the 4th map queued up here and go into this game. And we'll see if we have any major changes in the openings. It seems like both sides much more comfortable just going into macro play.
No!
Oh!
No!
Did I say macro play and the map Jagged Maw? Okay, so real quick, we're going to talk about this map. This is the most, should I say controversial, polarizing map?
This is the worst RTS map ever made.
Okay. This map, you have the top right and the bottom right. You're extremely close by air. Therefore, you're close. You can rush each other with, hornets. You can drop each other very quickly. There's no air blockers in between there either, which maybe there should be. I don't know. I'm glad they tried this map, and we currently have it in the game. It does make for some matchups to be very short and very cheesy.
Yes.
Now, that being said, I don't know if this map, with these two players in this matchup, will be that short.
Yeah, that's a good point. They haven't been really looking towards that type of aggressive play. Oh, nice pullback there. Does not look like he's going to lose that one, but oh, he does get it with the Flaming Skull. But yeah, you might be right. Maybe we just see a macro game, and maybe macro games on Jagged Maw look great. But yeah, if you do get some of these crazy rushes, right? Like just rushing up to Hornets, I can't tell you, I lost a lot of Infernal games to that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wow, those are pretty good against anti-air buildings. But they are both expanding quickly. So, if they're both going to be able to expand and actually get up to some interesting units, then yeah, we might actually see a really cool game here. Yeah,
the harass is kind of crazy here with this exit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could do this much damage. To be honest, when the games for early access has been out for 2 days. I basically did one game of brushing up on Vanguard and then 1 day of Celestial because I was maining Infernal in the previous one, so I didn't get to try the Hexen out as much. But let's go big picture for a little bit here because I think the game's going to slow down. So the map is shaped kind of like the letter C, but so you have to, if you're going to go on ground, you got to go all the way from the bottom left all the way around up to the top right. On the way are creeps that will give you a siege weapon that will you don't control it. It will automatically push towards their starting point, and all the bases for each side are kind of sprinkled in that direction.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Heroes of the Storm where you kill a creep and then they push a lane.
Yes.
It's actually, I guess it's exactly like that. So, originally, I would say 2 iterations ago, that's what everybody was doing.
Yeah.
And then Celestial was introduced, and people are just cheesing each other with Celestial. Well, you guys will see that later on in the event. That will happen. That is, yeah. I'm more confident about that happening than anything else.
Yes.
More confident about that than the sun rising tomorrow.
That's true.
So, but I would imagine in this game we're going to see that kind of central map feature used.
Yeah, those pushes were like, I honestly don't know exactly how this map will end up playing out, but like when it came in 2 betas ago, it was like, or maybe it was 3 betas ago, I can't remember exactly, but it was when it first came up. It's like when Gaunt started with Infest, and Infernal would creep the whole map in like a minute and then be at your base with a siege unit.
Yeah.
So you couldn't even use towers to defend. It was like the silliest stuff you've ever seen.
Do you remember Parting, the game we casted, it was like maybe 2 or 3 months ago, where he like rushes for the siege weapon and then just like double expands?
Yep.
And just ditches the thing so that the opponent over defends and then loses the game.
That was some brilliant stuff.
We almost missed it in the catch. We figured it out like right when it was happening. Like, oh, okay, it's a fake.
High IQ stuff there from Parting.
Yeah.
So, a lot of barracks going up Biokinetics Lab, so we're not going to see, necessarily any close position air abuse happening with quick Hornets or even a quick evac. I think we will see evacs because MC has been using those a lot today. But yeah, not sure what we'll see from Moon either. One thing that I have seen on this map a little bit is the Spriggans come out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. Obviously Exos are like really good against everything, especially Spriggans. But
it does seem like it's kind of a panacea unit for everything that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
From Infernal. Do we know if the depot makes, if you put that in a certain position, did things mine faster?
Oh,
like
I'm not sure.
I actually don't know.
Someone will figure things like this out. Where this is one of the funny.
I think he might have put that there because his command post is misplaced. So I think he's trying to fix this.
Possibly. You could be right about that. Yeah.
So when you make your starting structure, you need to have it.
It is going to be Spriggans.
All right. Spriggan City.
Spriggan City.
When you make your command post or your shrine, for everybody watching, it needs to be like a 90-degree angle. It needs to be directly above, directly
yes.
below, directly to the right, or directly to the left.
Yeah.
For it to be optimal, or you will have this sort of diagonal inefficiency.
And that's actually kind of a fun thing about the game, is that you can sometimes some maps I want to put it down, sometimes I want to put it across. Whereas if you look at other like StarCraft-based RTSs, there's an exact spot you have to put it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a cool thing from Stormgate.
Yeah, you can maybe put it further out in the front so that you can put defensive structures there. You can keep it further back.
Also a shout out to Ethereum. I think it's like a very interesting resource in the fact that you can like super overload it for a little bit. You can put things near it, you know, to do quicker mining, or you can do long distance mining. There's just like a lot of different variety with how you can collect it, so that's cool.
Okay, so we got an evac coming here.
Yeah.
I don't. Now, I would just imagine if you go Spriggans and they go evacs, the Spriggans are in
You're gonna
better,
crush.
right?
Yeah.
You can hard counter their drops if they go in any kind of direct line.
His Spriggan tech just got scouted by the pupper, and he throws down 3 conclaves afterwards. I wonder if he's pulling the old switcheroo here.
He's pulling the old switcheroo?
I think so, right? Like, Moon has a bunch of money saved up, which is a cool thing about this that we were talking about before,
yeah.
right? Where you can bank a little bit because you're going to get 3 charges on each building eventually, so you can like hold off and then decide what to make.
Yeah.
Now, as the evac comes in, I think he'll just pop, you know, like as many Spriggans as he can get out. Should be like 7 or so right now.
So this drop's going to come in. I guess this is a little bit earlier, actually. Did he mess up the unload? He did. Okay, he's going to come in now. And I think all this stuff's going to have to be canceled or just denied in a second here. Now, with the Spriggans, I'm not very clear on, you know, how many Spriggans you need to beat Exos.
It's quite
okay.
a few. But, yeah,
there's
they're going
so many more. This is just like when you hatch 9 Mutalisks.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you bank it up. Uh-oh.
Oh, look at that. He just crushes this drop. Just crushes it. And, you know, it's actually really important that he has these brutes in there as well, so he doesn't have to waste his Spriggans on these. Spriggans are kind of expensive.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the easiest way to describe this would be kind of like a Mutalisk. So they're going to be going up to the north now. Now, I don't know what's actually back at MC's base, but I don't think it's that much. What is the bunker-like thing called again?
The sentry post?
Sentry post, thank you. The sentry post, you can put an Exo in there, and it's a pretty formidable anti-air.
Yeah,
Basically, the sentry post, you put a unit in there, and it's almost like it morphs into like a specialized version of that unit.
Yeah.
So you can put a Lancer in there, and it shoots out blades. You can put a dog in there, and it becomes a great detector.
Yep, you can put a med tech, and it heals. You
Right.
can put a bob, and it repairs.
Right.
Basically, every unit that comes out of the barracks goes in there and makes a different, interesting tower that you can utilize.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more interesting parts of the game, actually.
Yeah, I think that's great design.
It's like there's so much that can happen with it. I almost don't want to go into it. I would rather just see what players do because there's so many ideas that could be had with it. If the Spriggans, and I guess he's concluded he can't get in there and do damage yet,
yeah,
you at least force them to defend, and that's them spending money, not expanding, not developing.
Yeah, one thing to mention about the Spriggans is they definitely feel like they're a harassment unit. Like, part of their ability when they hit things is to, like, slow down production and things like that. And yeah, you see as they come in, they, like, aren't going to fight well against the Hornets. They aren't going to fight well against the Exos unless you have just an unbelievable mass of them. And, of course, if you have an unbelievable mass and then any sort of splash anti-air, I tell you, I learned that against Shadow Flyers the hard way. I had like 150 Spriggans, man. Then Shadow Flyers killed everything in 2 seconds. So I was like, I don't even like this. But, yeah, he has quite a few and just going to bring them along with the army. Walking over here with the Gaunts. And it looks like finally we're going to get this siege camp.
So, where he's going to be closing this out. Now, these are the siege camps we were talking about that allow you to push. So you take this out over here. We're going to see the spawn. I think it was originally a catapult, but now... it's a V5 rocket launcher, so we've moved up the tech tree. We're no longer in the Bronze Age of siege weapons.
What do you think about that skull squisher, by the way? You like the alliteration?
Yeah.
Because if you're going to say skull, I'm just like, my brain is telling me crusher, you know?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Squisher?
Yeah.
Skull squisher.
This push is going to happen now. So this means that it's going to be MC on his back foot here.
Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and stay right on the butt of this tower right now. And yeah, it looks like just a small group of this of these bio units is going to start the walk through towards his base. Nice cleanup here by the Spriggans. They're going to come up. Ooh, you do not want to engage right there, but he sees the army coming, which is really important. By the way, as you can see, there are like a lot of resources in the center there, but it's a very hard area to take because it's so close to your opponent. Now, here comes the push. MC is out of position a little bit here. And, you know, as this comes up with all these gaunts and everything for Moon, Moon is going to be able to kill the command post minimum.
Okay, so the push is going to come in now. And, I mean, Moon is just crushing. You can see the siege weapon now here doing so much damage. The Spriggans are going to come in here to cover. This is going to be going to game 5, Artosis.
I think so.
We've got the rest of the infantry coming in here from behind, but he can easily relocate the gaunts here. The V5 rocket launcher is gone, but doesn't really matter anymore, does it? We see the rest of this push coming in here.
Yeah, he's going to be able to clean this up pretty darn well. Those medtechs taking tons of damage from these gaunts, and as he kills those off, you know, you're not going to have any heal on those exos left. In the meantime, the Spriggans go up. They're going to slow some of this production, pick off units as they pop out. GG is called, and we are tied up 2-2.
Thank God. A close series. Every time we see the earbuds in Moons, like, it's defying physics and gravity right now. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
It goes down, it loops
Did
up.
you turn off the gravity in your space booth, Tasis?
Yes. All right, well, we got a game 5 coming up here, guys. This is really exciting. It seems like Moon has really kind of figured out what's wrong in real time, made the adjustments, getting the right number of gaunts. I think also getting the Spriggans is a no-brainer on a map like that as well.
Yeah, I think he's playing very nicely. Yeah, the Spriggans were helpful. Like, just to kill that first evac felt like a big tempo swing in his advantage.
Yeah. So now we go to game 5 and close the series out. We did get to have an actual good game on Jagged Maw. I know, even going into this, we were all kind of worried.
That's going to be our best game of the weekend in Jagged Maw.
We were all a little bit worried coming into this with Jagged Maw. Is this going to be a map that's going to be making really short games?
Yeah.
I think it still will, but it's nice to have one where we get to see the map mechanic used and not an all-in that ends it right away.
Yeah, for sure. I like that, bringing that along for the push. It did take him a little bit to get around the map, but you know, you were out of position. You got to make sure you're scouting a lot, I think, as well. You know, on a map like this, like maybe you make an extra dog and send it around the side.
Yeah.
You know, make sure you see if your opponent is coming in with one of those further pushes.
So we're going to go into game 5 now. This is it, everybody. And by the way, if you are just now joining us, we are just getting started. This is the Legends match of Moon versus MC. After this, we start the 8-player invitational.
Ooh.
It's going to be so good.
Cannot wait.
And if you're here now, you better be here tomorrow.
Yeah, you better be. It's you better be, or we'll get you.
We'll know. Yeah, we're going to be on today and tomorrow, guys. Be sure to join us. Be sure to follow the channel. Subscribe if you're on YouTube watching this VOD. We're going to have more content.
Subscribe if you're on Twitch as well, actually. That's even better.
That's
than
actually even more important. Yeah. So this map, this is a 4-spawn map, but apparently if you're in like one corner, there can only be 2 other corners that can spawn from. Did you know about this?
Yeah, so there's no horizontal spawns.
Correct.
It's only cross spawn or vertical spawn.
Yes, exactly.
Which makes sense. I think that's an okay to run a 4-player map. It's certainly better than being like, we're only going to do 2-player maps. That's one thing that I
did not like that about StarCraft 2 at the very end, or maybe the last 8 or 9 years.
Well, only GSL uses 4-player maps ever, right?
Yeah.
And it's been that way for years and years. But yeah, I would agree. I think that the randomness of start locations actually adds a lot to the game. Always knowing your opponent is every game. I'm not a huge fan, so I'm glad to see this from Stormgate.
I like a couple maps with 2 spawns because then we do get the proxies, or maybe not. But then we get a map with 3 spawns total, or even 4. It does force the players to play in a more ambiguous fashion.
Yeah,
which I think
or a riskier fashion, possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just like every game here, we see the Hexen harassing. This time, it's a forced recall back here.
Yeah, better control there from MC, kind of keeping his dog back and making sure that he could force that away. And, you know, he's got his expansion up, getting a lot of bobs there. A lot less damage to him this game, so, you know, maybe he can have a better opener and have a better shot.
Meanwhile, you know, on the map as a total here, you know, there's a lot of locations you can try to creep into. We're getting a glimpse here of the center of the map. Now, this is, I don't know if we're going to normally have maps with this much Therium on it, but I think it's undeniable that if you can get control of the map and get that much Therium, you can probably just close the game out.
Yeah, you just got to figure out what the Therium Archon is for your race.
Yes.
It's just something that costs, like, basically only Therium at that point. But, yeah, you know, that's... I like to see a big variety of how you're trying to make maps work at the beginning of the game. Like,
well,
you shouldn't go in and be like, well, in StarCraft, we never do this, let's not do it here. Nah, do everything, try it all, and let's just see how it goes.
I think that even in StarCraft 2, they pumped the brakes a little bit too quick.
Yeah.
I think they were too quick to bend the knee to what, you know, some people would complain about. It's like, okay, let's have some kind of a formulaic setup as we map this out, but let's also try some crazy ideas. Like, even in ASL and StarCraft 1, they're still just doing weird stuff with maps.
Yeah,
You know,
very true.
They're still pushing the envelope.
And I think that's a great call. And I mean, hey, look at it. Like, Age of Empires does randomize maps, right? And it has to be like, you have to get a terrible spawn for a restart. Like, there's like rules around it. So, you know, I think just having, you want a lot of variety to learn more about the game. And I almost think it's better to patch the game in a way that rewards the variety rather than change the map in a way that rewards balance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. For now, it's just teching. It's no rushing.
My favorite type of game.
Every game a macro game with these two guys. MC does seem to be, as we're watching this series develop, in more and more of a corner here. He kind of started out knowing what to tech into, and you could see Moon was like a little bit uncomfortable, especially in engagements in the mid game. Moon has completely reinvented the composition, and you know, other than the evac drops, I don't feel like MC is doing as much.
Yeah, he's been sitting back a little bit more. That evac drop kind of failing in that previous game, and then he didn't really seem to know what to do against the Spriggans and everything. Definitely Moon is getting bigger quicker now. He's roaming with his gaunts pretty effectively. I just want to see MC, you know, maybe it was the smaller maps that we had earlier on that helped him as well. But these bigger maps, you know, you were talking like we don't know what race is going to be good on the bigger maps. Maybe this is part of it for MC. That has been a problem for races that look like Vanguard in other games, where it's like the bigger the map, the harder it is for them to do things. But I wouldn't mind seeing him just kind of like focus on expanding, get a giant macro going, right? Because when in doubt in an RTS game, get yourself a lot of units to play with.
Yeah, I mean, there's no upkeep in this game like Warcraft 3, so to have a massive amount is going to be very, very, very handy. And then you kind of move the game from there. Yeah.
You just made me think of a great YouTube video, Tasteless. The worst 5 game mechanics ever in RTS. Number 1, upkeep. Do you like to macro? No.
We got the Doombringer back.
All right.
So we're going to have more drops coming in here. I think, by the way, two Doombringers is definitely better than one.
Yes.
Seems like you can really, with 2 of those, punish, especially in certain maps, position so well.
No, I agree with you 100%. Like, a lot of people were doing 2 of them. Ooh, he actually takes some huge. He almost lost that, dude. That was very close. Maybe unlucky for Moon to fly over that just as he was doing the camp, but very well done. To put that damage on. He's going to have to be really careful with the Doombringer.
Yeah, you can see already Exos are being rallied up here. Can you hide up here?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Well, there's a secret cave. He's inside.
A cave in there.
Okay, so the push is going to come up here, and I don't actually know. He doesn't have any static defense, but you know this is a lot of gaunts. Can he?
That
push
is
this?
a lot of gaunts. Yeah, he'll hold.
He'll have to individually target fire this. Okay, he gets 1 high veterancy Exo down. God, the kiting is insane.
Yeah. The Lancer health is insane, dude. Did you see how many shots it took the guns to take that
Where
guy
did
out?
Where did that Doombringer go? Did he? I must have been killed, right?
Oh, did he lose it? That would be rough. Oh no, he still got. Does he? Harbinger.
Well, it's,
Oh,
it's definitely a Harbinger right now, man.
Yeah.
It's true to its name.
Wait, isn't it Harbinger?
Harbinger? Yeah. No, we can't read. You're right.
Yeah.
They got to name these things easier names.
It's.
They really brought the
dude,
thesaurus out with this game.
Am I absolutely remembering this wrong? It was the Doombringer before. Right?
I was thinking Doombringer. Is Doombringer from another game?
No.
We're going to have to double down on our position.
They actually changed the names of a lot of things that I was going to joke about as we get deeper into the stream.
I'm like, is that his Goblin Zeppelin? So he drops the, I guess it's a Harbinger now. Harbinger. Yeah. It's going to be.
I'm pretty sure that Harbinger is how you pronounce it.
All right, we're going to ask somebody after this is done. Okay, a big infest coming down here. He's going to try to come in here. The medevacs are just in the front. He's going to target them down, too, and just pick them off. You can see you can't kite away quite as easily as that.
I think MC is attacking a bit too much, Tasteless.
I think so. I think he's way overexposed here.
I love getting a fast base up and going 4 racks exo. I think it's a great strategy, but there's no reason to consistently attack because, as you were saying before, it feels like with Vanguard you get up to a death ball eventually, but you have to get up to it. It's like, okay, if your opponent doesn't have enough, okay, you can attack, but like when he's defending you, dude, just like stay on the edges, don't lose your army, and get up to this army that's going to be like impossible to kill.
The speed buff is crazy. By the way, guys, in a best of 5, do you know how rare it is for somebody to come back 3-0 after being down 0-2? That's crazy.
Not very common, but that's why we have it.
Yeah. Now, he's going to try to come out here. A Shroud Stone's going to make this even more undesirable to be in. The Gaunts are going to have a speed upgrade. Oh, this is so bad here for MC. I think that, and you know what? This is a little bit of a tale of Warcraft versus StarCraft here.
Yeah.
I think MC had a lot of the map he could be creeping. And instead he's pushing.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the 3rd or 4th attack we've seen him just dive in. And it's like, okay, so if his army beat your army the first time and you both consistently produce, will it beat it the second time or suddenly do you win? Well, you don't win that, okay? So, like, as soon as you're starting to lose battles, you should look in and say, okay, I want to get up to a critical mass rather than attack with the exact same force again.
Man, look at this fanning out of Fiends. He's basically trying to make sure there's no hidden bases. So he's scouting everything in the top left. He's even got one Fiend going down into the bottom left. He's just kind of doing a big confirm of where he's at on the map.
Checking absolutely everywhere. Finds this base. Maybe he can make another Harbinger to go attack it.
Or Harbinger, depending on what region of the world you're from, you know.
Which region says Harbinger?
I don't know.
It's wherever I'm from, Tasteless.
Yeah,
actually
wherever you're from.
It's wherever I'm from, because that's what I called that word for a long, long time.
It was like in the old days, you go to StarCraft tournaments and find out who couldn't read. They would call them Archons.
That was me, literally.
I remember seeing that. I remember I judged you.
And people are like, what? I'm like, guys, I don't have friends that play this game. I don't know. Like, I've never said this word out loud before.
People couldn't read that word either.
Oh,
they get there and there would be some just garbled word come out of their mouth.
Mutalisks
or something.
Mutts.
Mutts. Nice harass. He gets in, kills some bobs, gets back out. Is 6 o'clock taken from? Yeah. Okay, so he's just continuing to grow. He's basically filled in his whole quadrant of the map. Supplies, by the way, not that different, but I do think this is really a very winnable position for Moon. I mean, this spot here, if we don't see defenses set up for MC,
Dude, I think you throw up a few sentry posts there because that's your really weak one, and you just kind of focus on getting some more bases and get Atlases out. Like, this type of position, I think if you don't tech towards Atlas, you're not teching towards a victory. I think that's how you're going to have to grind down just the ridiculous economy of Moon right now.
So we're going to have the drops basically spot each other. And he looks like he's going to try to drop right in over here. Again, not a lot of defenses right now for MC. I think he was so used to being aggressive in most of these games. And, you know, a lot of times when you're really good at being aggressive, they never have a chance to attack you. But it seems like Moon's made all the right adjustments.
Yeah.
Now, oh my God, he's not going to go there. There would have been a fresh base to take.
I think he just missed it.
I think so. It's funny to see MC just going for like StarCraft 2 medevac drops, basically.
Yeah.
By the way, 3 more bases in the bottom left quadrant. which is wild. So Moon's going to be growing at just a massive, massive amount. This Shrine's going to go down at 6, but it seems like Moon can just keep pushing up here. And I don't know what's actually here to defend.
Oh, he turns around there. Huh. Well, I guess there are a few units up there for MC. It seems like MC's like defending his bases reasonably. He has killed a base and hasn't technically lost one yet.
Oh, no, hold on. This game, I think, is about to end.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That is a lot of gaunts.
Okay.
Hello, Hexens.
Yeah. So you can see now, I mean, the unit numbers are dwindling. The Lancers are going to drop. The Bobs are being infested as well. There is a bit of an obstruction here with the command post, but I don't think that's going to be enough of a hindrance to stop the progress that's already been made here by Moon.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the case. Like, it definitely did help this attack. If that was on open ground, this would have already been over, I think. But, you know, he's actually I think the Exos are technically going to hold this. Kind of crazy. We have a drop coming up right now from MC down there as well, but he's actually going to break through here. He's pushing the Hexens back. They're going to go ahead and warp home their little jiggy dance. And, well, I mean, it was a lot of damage still.
I mean, it was a lot. It's 136 to 72. A big Gaunt drop here, and I mean, this is what's scary about Gaunt drops, where there's both a lot of Theorem and Luminite, is that you're going to infest so many units. You can see the Fiends, you know, beginning to snowball this position, and you know, you can forget the Fiends, pick up the Gaunts, leave, and just go somewhere else.
Yeah, and I mean that happens very, very often. But you can see the amount of damage that he gets, and if you don't react, everything will be dead in seconds. Then the buildings start to fall, and it gets really, really bad. You know, luckily the Bobs do have overcharge, so it can help a little bit. Ooh, some Venom traps put up all over the place.
He's surrounded right now. So MC, I mean, he's barely alive. Meanwhile, the bottom left, I mean, the income explosion is going to be absurd. I do, by the way, find it hard to keep up with Therium when I really start to get the Luminite. I feel like that's one of the learning curves in the game.
Yeah.
You kind of get used to having, like, a slow drip of Therium, and then eventually you get to the point where, like, you really need to have a lot. Interestingly, nobody sees the middle of the map yet.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Like, if you have this type of map control, what if you threw a Shrine down there? Like, you're gonna get so much Therium, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. All right. You know, more damage happening over here at the base south of the main, and I think this. Well, maybe he'll actually save it in time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have a hard time judging how much damage the Gaunts can do, because a couple extra Fiends and the damage really goes up quite a bit.
Yeah. It feels like Gaunt damage isn't super, super high, but Fiends are.
Yeah, no, I think that's basically the way it's supposed to function, is like you just get a couple Fiends out and then things start to spike.
I really like all the Venom traps, by the way. This is like a very cool move. I haven't really seen this with the Hexens just running around throwing these down. I mean, he's got such control of the game, it makes a lot of sense to do something like this.
By the way, this is kind of assuming that MC dies out here. Oh, okay, he actually knows to just kind of fraction these things off. He's being pretty smart. Oh, God, he goes through the blind spot.
Well, as long as his whole army goes
yeah, the whole
file.
army has to go exactly through there
man.
then. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to see Moon close this out in a very StarCraft-esque way. Take the whole map. I guess we've seen Moon do that some in Warcraft 3 as well. But, you know, to take the whole map, just kind of surround, lay traps. And, you know, when you get a really good RTS player, when they get far enough ahead, it's like, no, it's my opponent's problem to get out of this. I don't have to close it out. If this is not like a timed attack or an all-in, if this is a macro game, which every one of these games has been, I don't really have to do anything here.
Exactly. And his army just looks so strong at this point. I think he's played a beautiful game. And the only thing that I see from MC, right, like he did those early attacks that probably he should have laid off on that a little bit, maybe focused on his economy a little bit more. But we just don't see him going up the tech tree. You know, maybe he got like a couple more upgrades for his units, like, you know, advance the med techs forward or something like that. But like, for instance, we don't see him trying to go into like Hornets or something. We don't see him trying to get into Atlases. So it just doesn't feel like he's getting anything that will bring him cost efficiency that he needs.
Yeah. God, Exos are so good.
Yeah, they are.
They are going to be wiped out here eventually, but I mean, talk about power there. So, I mean, for now we wait, guys. The position is one where MC has not been killed, but so much of the map here for Moon is just drinking in the resources, the Luminite, the Therium. And I think at this point in time, Moon knows, okay, I'm going to win the Legends show match here for the Tasteless TV Showdown. I just got to run the clock. MC will mine out.
Yeah. He's not going to have that much left over here. I think he's just trying to take like some very advantageous engagements.
Oh, he's got the dragon.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit rough. When that guy comes out, you know you're screwed.
Yeah. So this also, you can chain infest with this. This will be the end of this game using the global command abilities. The entire map covered in shrouds, Magmadons slapping the ground as they move through here and wipe out the remaining few units that MC has.
That's right. Those Magmadons just waiting for Tasteless Stream to begin. And, yeah, I mean, he finally has an Atlas, but it's like way too little too late. And Moon with a great comeback. MC calls GG, and that means Moon came back with a 3-0. That's very impressive.
Dude, I got to say, what a great match we've got here. I mean, Moon was on, up against the ropes here. He was down 0-2. I kind of thought, well, that's too bad. I guess we're going to have a short Legends match. We'll get into the proper bracket part of the tournament, but he wins. And, yeah. GG.
Yeah, that was a great series. That was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you for joining us. We're going to real quick show some merch here. We're going to take a short commercial break. You can get Tasteless TV Showdown merch.
My favorite part of this
It's a photorealistic version of my face.
Yeah, and they covered up the worst parts of your face,
yes,
like your eyes and
the
your
bags
nose.
under my eyes.